In this final video on park manners, I want to talk to you about the other people that walk in a park. The first lot of people that come to a park are parents with their children. They want to walk around the park. Perhaps they live in a flat and it's nice to walk around a park in a green area. They come to play on the equipment, or they come to have a picnic in the park. So there they are sitting on the ground, and up comes this dog racing to them, jumping on them, and worse still, even eating the food that they have. If you see people sitting on the ground having a picnic, keep your dog away. These people do not need your dog running to them and jumping on them or eating their food. Some of those people even bring their own dog with them. So now they're sitting there with their own dog, and your dog races up, jumps on them, or gets in the face of the other dog. That dog gets protective of its owner, and even worse, of the food, and now you have chaos ensuing. A big fight because your dog has gone into their space. Walk around the park, keep an eye open, and if you see people having a picnic, keep your dog under control and away from them. The other park users are the people who are just walking through the park, maybe getting to their home, or also just having a walk around the park. They don't have a dog or children, they're just in the park. And many of those people don't like dogs, or perhaps are even scared of dogs. So now you have a dog racing up to them, jumping on them, or worse still, barking at them or biting them. That is not allowed. So if you have a dog that you know is going to run up to people in the park, keep it under control. Those poor people do not need a dog jumping on them or barking or biting them. I know of a case several years ago when a man who walked through parks a lot of times, and he kept getting jumped on or barked at. So one day he came and he shot a dog. This dog came at him and he shot it. There was horror and an outcry. How could he do it? Well, he had had enough. Now, I'm not saying that everybody's going to shoot a dog, but I can understand where he came from. He was frustrated, and it didn't matter how much he told the people to call their dog away, don't allow them to come up to him. I'm afraid he shot the dog. Now, dogs are just a commodity, so he wouldn't have got into big trouble for killing the dog, but he did get into trouble for discharging his firearm in a public space. So, we don't want people shooting dogs, but I can understand the frustration when people allow their dogs to run up to people that are just walking through the park. The other people who use the park are cyclists. Now, this is a double-barreled here, because you have the cyclists who need to be aware of people walking and people walking their dogs, and of course people walking their dogs need to be aware of cyclists. If only cyclists could warn people, especially if they're coming up from behind, that they are coming, then people can have time to put their dog on a lead or under control. So if you're a cyclist, you can shout to people coming through, look out, and then you can get the dogs under control. But unfortunately, there are still going to be dogs that even see a cyclist far in the distance and go, wow, I'm going to get that cyclist. And off they go. That is not fair to have a cyclist being chased by your dogs. I've seen dogs pull cyclists' legs. I've seen them run in front of cyclists, doing all sorts of things to cause an accident. So if you do know that your dog is going to chase somebody, and even little dogs can chase, don't think it's only big dogs. Little dogs, any size dog will chase bicycles. Be aware of it, get your dog under control. The only time that you would have a problem is if you don't see the cyclist and it comes out of nowhere and gives you and your dog a fright, and then your dog might chase the person. but I don't think that it's fair that your dog should chase bicycles as well. And then you get the wildlife. There are many birds and animals that live in a park, and people tend to think it's great fun to see their dogs chasing the birds, racing around chasing the birds. And there's the owner going, "Oh, look at my dog, it's chasing the birds. Look what exercise it's getting." That's horrendous that they can chase the birds like that. And even worse, there are dogs that manage to catch a bird and kill it. And now you've got the problem that your dog has killed this bird. The other thing that they chase are the ducks in ponds, and worse when the ducks have ducklings. And there are these dogs in the pond swimming around, chasing the ducks and the ducklings, and the owner's going, "I can't get my dog out." Well, you should have thought of that before you went near the pond. You take your dog for a swim in the pond, have it on a lead, and be able to control it that it can't chase the ducks and the ducklings. But I've seen it over and over again. Dogs chasing the birds and the owner's going, "Oh well, it's getting its exercise." So, if you're going near a pond or your dog is starting to look like it's going to chase the birds, get it under control. Don't allow it to happen. I'm not surprised that some parks have banned dogs or insisted that dogs have to be on lead, because they are tired of owners who don't do what they're told and allow their dogs to get out of control. It is those owners who make it worse for the owners who do the right thing. And if you go to a park and your dog is off lead and there's a sign saying your dog should be on lead, and a person shouts at you and says, "Would you put your dog on the lead?" Please follow the rules. Don't get cross with the person who's saying, "Excuse me, there are rules." You need to follow rules. If they're there for a reason. And if you are going to have your dog in a park, have it under control. And then everybody in the park can have a good experience.